Hey, welcome to WeTaku Anime Review, a podcast in which four people who vaguely are qualified to maybe talk about something get together and maybe talk about something. I'm one of your hosts, Jovan, and with me are my three lovely co-hosts. Please introduce yourselves.
Do we have to be qualified? What are the qualifications? I'm Thomas, and I do not have my certificate of anime reviewing yet. I guess I'm going to take that right after my Series 7 and my...
First, you have to take the GRE, and then you have to take the GR Weeb. It's like a whole thing.
I have a driver's license. That's the only qualification that I have.
It's close. Draw an anime girl on it, it's basically the same thing.
Okay, well, I'm Alan. I, in fact, have my driver's license, I guess.
Good. Get back, everybody.
JD?
Oh, okay.
JD, you're a guy. I'm not even introducing you separately this time. You've been on here long enough. Just getting
I know,
there.
I'm panicking. I don't know. You want to change it every time. Hi, I'm JD. I'm here. I've been on here like 3 times before.
This is like your 5th, dude.
I don't even know, man.
It's been
It actually might be his 5th.
It's been a few. But yeah, so I'm here. And I'm here if you should Shinsekai Yori.
Woo! Spoiler warning, dude. Come on.
Oh
man.
no! I want to read the title.
What is Shinsekai Yori?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Imagine a world 1,000 years from now where all the people are psychics. That's Shinsekai Yori.
Yeah.
Also Big Brother. Also Big Brother.
The biggest brother.
The biggest psychic brother.
Yep.
And that's basically the show.
Alright, well, podcast done. Goodbye.
Podcast. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. That'll be.
There we go.
Yep. All right. So Shinsekai Yori is actually like, while the setting is exactly what I described, it's both about that and almost not about that. Because when I got to the end of the show, I had a hard time being like, were they right or wrong? They kind of almost switched the subject matter completely in the end. So they were took a definite stance on one thing, but they couldn't take a stance on the other. And it was like, I don't know what to do now.
But to find out about that, watch the show.
Yes, I'm just saying that I gave them the premise, but
I think we need to dive into it, talk about it.
So
How'd you feel about the story? How'd you feel about it? Did it make you feel good?
Feel good is maybe not the word, but I loved it. With the exception of a few notable moments, 2 notable moments, I thought it was actually really well executed in its, I guess, almost entirety. It was super good, super well done. I thought it was pretty deep, but not head up its own ass kind of deep. Thought it was directed really well.
What threw you off, unless that's too spoilery? And
the literal last 30 seconds of the show and that one music video. We'll talk about it.
Episodes that are directed by a different person.
Honestly, no, those are fine too. They were all fine. It was literally just those 2 things just messed me up, but everything else is I thought really, really good. What about you guys?
Well, since I made a noise.
Go.
Well, since I'm the one who suggested it, I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious I love this show. I love it for different reasons, and what I got out of each watch was different. It's one of those shows that you can, you miss a lot during your first watch through, and during your second one, a lot of things become a lot more obvious. But as for what I think about it, I think it's a fantastic show. There's a lot of social commentary in it. Yeah, there's not much to say without spoiling.
This is a very spoilers-heavy show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to talk about that we can get into without spoilers, though, sound design. Because that was fucking really good. There's no opening theme, it should be noted, for Shinsekai Yori.
Yeah, I kept looking for that. I was like 5 episodes in. I was ready for it. Never came. I love openings. I love anime openings. It never came.
There is
Honestly,
one opening.
Ish.
The one montage at the beginning of episode 16.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that it didn't have an opening. It just gets you right into it, and it's like, boom, here's the story, we're starting it, buckle in. And all it is a nice brushstroke, black screen, white Shinsekai Yori in, I think, kanji, I would assume.
They started doing episode names with crayon, though, and I was like, whoa, that's weird.
Well, it's because it's like things are getting weird, so we're gonna change it up and make you feel a little weird. It's okay. Helpful. They made up for not having an opening with having a very good ending. Which
God, the first ending theme?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good.
It's my favorite. It's like one of my favorite anime songs of all time now, just because like I love the guitar. It like starts and stops over and over, and it's just like
the glitching's nice. Yeah.
God, I'm so sold. Also,
doesn't have much. Doesn't have much to do with the story though. I don't feel like it.
It actually does.
Really.
If you go back to watch it, you will find many things. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Something else with sound design though, something I noticed especially like when I was finishing it up this morning, was there are moments where like in generic anime you'd expect to hear like the characters like cry like as it pans out or something, or like you're supposed to hear something, and it would just mute that noise but keep the music playing, and it was like the noise happened and like it hit your expectation there, but you never actually heard it. And to me, it kind of kept it. It was like, we're not just making a thing here, we're making like an art. And that's kind of what Shinsekai Yori felt to me, of like, we made art.
Speaking of art.
Art.
Yes. Art and animation. We can probably talk about that a little bit.
It reminded me of, I think KyoAni did Hyoka. It reminded me a lot of Hyoka, if Hyoka was mixed with Fish People. I can't remember the name of the show.
God, I forgot what Fish People was called.
It's a lot like Fish People. That's the first thing I thought when I saw it.
It does look like... Wow, now that you guys mentioned it, it does look the exact same as Fish People.
I wish we could tell them what Fish People is.
I'm looking it up.
That's the only thing I know it as, is Fish People.
Nagi no Asukara.
Oh, that's the one.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I first watched it, I was like, wow, they're actually using 3D models really well, and that stayed true for most of it. But I know there were some scenes.
Madoka in one scene that was just like interesting.
Yeah, there was one scene. I think it was when they showed the rat army, something to that effect.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And it was like a scene from like Ruby or Berserk 2016.
I was about to say Berserk 2016 just like reared its head like, hello, I have a rat army for you, and then disappeared.
Hello, we don't care to animate this.
We did not put a lot of effort into this.
We put this here.
Okay, done. It was like a 10-second shot. We're done now forever. We're sorry. Then at a time.
And
this was A1, really?
Yeah, it doesn't look like an A1 show, but it was done by A1.
This is higher. This is better than most of A1 stuff. I'll tell you that for a fact. But
so like the last show we watched, FLC. Oh no,
cool.
Actually, not quite as much like it. What was the one we watched before that? Whatever. Like the muted backgrounds and then the colorful characters. I was going to say they had a lot of contrast, but now that I think about it, even the characters had muted colors.
Yeah.
It was really just in standout moments that they really wanted to accentuate the colors. Did it really pop? And I think they did a good job with that. Just they made it pop when it was important. If it wasn't important, then it was muted and it was telling the story, and you weren't really supposed to look at too much.
It kind of gave me the Giver vibe, actually, with that.
Dude, that was exactly what I was thinking through most of this show. I was like, this feels like
Is it just me, or did he?
No, JD's roboting out entirely.
Robot, yeah.
Okay.
JD's dead.
I'm roboting?
Oh,
Yeah,
you're back. All right, say it again. Whatever you just said about the Giver.
I just said I really liked that. That was like the vibe it was giving me when I first started watching it, where I was just like super controlling society and people just taking things away from people, and I really liked that.
Oh, we should probably say like what our experience with the show is, so it's not.
Alan's seen it before.
Yeah. Jovan and JD watched it for the first time. Thomas technically watched like half of it.
So I've watched it once. I think senior year of high school. I have not been able to rewatch it. I watched the first 10 episodes or so a couple months ago, but it's been a while. So most of this is from memory. But so as far as like how I felt actually watching the show is initially I felt it was pretty thriller horror in the beginning, in the first like maybe 4 episodes, where it really just throws you into the show and you don't really know what to expect.
It was
the
real
cats, weird. They made the cats terrifying, I thought, for me at least.
Yeah.
And I was watching it late at night too, so I was just like, there's got to be something around the corner. And but later on, it becomes more mystery oriented when the kids are actually exploring, and then they're like, oh, but there's something behind society, like what's all this? And then once it does I think the last time skip, then it kind of turns into more an adventure where like there's this opposing force and it's obvious what this force is and it's them combating it.
Mm-hmm. Like when the show started, I could not have told you how it was going to go at all.
Oh, none.
Like every episode I was like, okay, we have this new information, what do we do with it?
They spend so much time on world building, especially, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
And they make you not trust anyone, which I like.
Yeah, you don't trust anyone. You feel like, I don't know, I felt like we learned about the world through their experiences more than anything, so I was into it. It felt like we were growing up with these characters. But it also felt like there was this like uneasy feeling where sometimes the characters forget things that you don't. And then you're like, this is real weird. I feel uncomfortable about this because like you're yelling at the screen like you know this, but they don't know this anymore, and it's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's as close as I can get to spoilers. I really want to get into spoilers.
Yeah, no, I think it's about time we head into spoilers.
So
let's do it.
I guess.
Oh yeah. So do you like or do you not like?
Yeah.
I like a lot for all the reasons I just said. Somebody else.
I'm a fan. Alan said that he picked this and therefore he likes it, but I think we need to get back into picking things that we don't like. I think it's important to hit all of anime.
This is literally the first time in like months I have enjoyed watching a thing for us like wholeheartedly. I've enjoyed other shows, but this is the first time I've been like edge of my seat, put my phone down, just like staring at the screen. I need more of that, damn it.
Sounds like it's time for Flowers of Evil. Or
Fortune Arterial too, let's go baby.
Tune in next week for the Ruby review. Where we watch all of Ruby.
Some people love that show.
I will antagonize all
me.
of them.
I'll say I absolutely love this series, and I think most people should watch it, even if it's not quite your thing. I think you should watch it just to see. It's a unique experience.
It's worth giving a shot, I think, for everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked it. I really enjoyed the feeling I had when I watched it, when I was like, this isn't like a good anime, this is a good show. Or I feel like this just has a good story.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It was one of those things where like the fact that it was an anime just allowed it to do things that like live action can't do, but other than that, like it was just, or it can't do within like reasonable production values at least. So
you're saying like it doesn't hit on anime tropes as much?
No, it does not.
Yeah, it's not. It's not like.
I mean, it hits like the tropes of like this is Japanese and we get that, but like nobody ran out with toast in their mouth until like.
Yeah.
I think I know where you're hesitating, and we'll talk about it in a sec. So, because we're about to go into spoilers section. If you haven't seen the show, go watch it. We'll be here. We'll wait. You can pause the video. All right, welcome back to the video. Now you've watched it. Jumping into spoilers in 5, 4, now. First things first, as I always ask, who was best girl?
Lion-maned rat guy.
That's Kiramaru. Hell yeah.
Wait, sorry, did Alan say something? I couldn't hear something. Okay, I said that? Is that Kiramaru? Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. I like, my headphones just like cut everything out.
No, Kiyomaru is great, especially with the revelations at the end that he was like, when I was younger, I tried to kill all of you guys too, but it didn't work out, and now my clan is gonna die, so I guess I'm on your side. And I was like, you were best girl, and then I was worried you were a traitor, and now you're double best girl. Holy shit, Kiyomaru, the greatest, the fucking goat.
I was so ready for him to just be an evil guy.
I was waiting for it.
I was like, it's coming, he's gonna betray. No, it didn't. He was a hero through and through.
I also liked the monk who was a dick. And then he ended up being like this big hero at the end.
Oh god, Yori, or whatever, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you... Like, no, he wasn't the dick. No, the dick was a different monk.
Huh?
The dick was a different monk. Yori was the one that the rat saved. The Kiyomaru saved.
Okay.
The dick was just some guy who was, like, delivering boxes and taking people places. It doesn't matter.
But I definitely remember my first time watching, like, being really uneasy about Kiyomaru. Like, when they took him and Squealer into the same room and, like, questioned them. When Kiyomaru, like, did, like, this weird grin, I was like, are you evil?
Right? He does that weird grin so often, I'm like, what the fuck are you planning?
Mm-hmm.
It's, like, so... Ugh.
Oh yeah, because like, even from the beginning when they were like, oh, that eagle's been following us, and we know it works for Kiyomaru, so that's kind of weird. That he just shows up and helps them for no reason. That was kind of weird.
Like, every time he helps, it's like, what do you want? What are you doing?
Like,
the thing is, Squealer looks so obviously evil, and Kiyomaru
Squealer
looks
was so evil.
noble.
Oh, what
yeah,
a
and really,
bag.
And you're like,
something's gonna flip here.
Look,
you're like, Squealer can't amount to anything. Like, look how ridiculous he is.
Look,
Squealer did everything wrong.
Squealer
I
did
Squealer
wrong.
was like, are you a Squealer apologist, Alan?
Actually, I'm gonna put it out there. Squealer did, like, sure, he was fucked up and horrible, but like,
Squealer did everything
it's not
for the
that his
monster
cause
rats.
wasn't just, at least like you can get where Squealer's coming from on this one, I think.
Don't know.
Thomas?
I don't like Squealer. I didn't like him from the
He's a
beginning.
terrorist.
Yeah, he is.
Yes,
I'm not saying I agree with his methods. I'm just saying you can understand why he was frustrated.
Yes. But he's a terrorist.
Yes, he is.
Well, he's like part of a slave race, though.
Alright,
He's like trying to fight for his freedom in a weird way. Even if he uses like bioweapons with children. I don't know.
Which was weird.
Before we get too into it, I want to do a recap of it, but first, let's hear your best girls.
Oh, my best. Oh, I want. So mine, if you asked me before, like, I think it was episode 10, it would have been Sadaro easily, but then I think it turned into Shun.
He did turn into Shun real hard.
After he turned into the Karma demon. Because that was like an episode, and I was like, oh, this sucks.
I love the Magica.
So cool.
This is rough
cool.
for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, that was probably like my favorite episode out of this, honestly. I really liked it.
But alright, so post 10 though, JD, I need a best girl.
Oh, post 10 though.
He said Shun.
Did you say Shun? No, he said
yeah,
he was gonna...
I said Shun for once episode 10 hit, but
Okay, fair. I'll give it to you.
yeah, I like Shun. I didn't like him at first, but I like him.
I want to say Saki after all of the development.
See, I wanted to choose Saki at first, but my problem was with her. A lot of the show tells you how special she is, and like for a long time you see it, and then like when she becomes an adult, you stop for a while. You no longer see it. So, like, Saki, you're so strong. I mean, like, you complain a lot and whatever, but you can keep moving forward.
Right.
But like, I don't know, when she became an adult, it felt a lot less like...
Well, I feel like when she was an adult, like, she was just a lot less, like, proactive, and it felt like a lot of her just running back and forth to events happening.
Yeah, it also really felt like, especially near the end, it just felt like everybody else dragged her over the finish line.
And then at the end, when she's like 30 or whatever, I think she's just so like beaten down at that point. She just wants to get everything over with.
Huh?
I think the right
The end
thing.
is like pretty optimistic. Oh, you mean right before that?
Yeah.
Like during Squealer's trial? Yeah, she was fucking... Oh boy. Yeah, that was a rough
I
one.
like the disillusioned, like, adult Saki though. Like after the all the
Yeah,
events,
disillusioned
like
adult Saki made sense to me.
Yeah.
It was illusioned adult Saki that I had problems with, like, because you skip from her like crying over Maria to like, I am okay with life and this society is great and I'm gonna pretend I don't know the hidden truths behind half of it, and I'm like, feels off.
Who's your best girl?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's him. It's oh god, how did I forget his name at the time? Like since we just talked about him.
Kiritamaru or whatever.
Kiramaru, thank you. It's definitely Kiramaru. Kiramaru was amazing.
Yeah.
He was the best. I love Kiramaru. Other than him, I wanted to choose Saki at first, but I couldn't justify it because of the ending. She did not pull her own weight, as opposed to everybody else. Hell, Shun pulled her weight, and Shun was dead. Like,
look,
I get it. It was a manifestation of her consciousness. I get that, but like,
Saki's had the worst life.
I think we need to break it down for the audience.
Never. Take that, the audience. Go watch the show.
Right. So, the show starts with the kids. They're young. Everyone's born with psychic powers, and they're ripped away from the characters. The main girl Saki is chosen from birth to be the person who like changes all of society. She and her friends are sent on this very special quest that they think everyone else is doing, but they're not, to unlock their powers. Shun ends up turning into one of the legends that people say will happen if you misuse your power. He didn't even misuse it. It just overwhelmed him anyway.
Yeah.
Then later, they have this episode where everyone falls in love with each other. That's weird.
That was the worst episode.
What?
The kids, when they're on the adventure, they meet these rat people who are introduced earlier as slaves.
Basically, see rat war.
Yeah, and they learn about the hierarchy. Some rats are definitely better than the others. They are all centered around a hive mind, around the main, the mothers. Later on in the show, Squealer, this really sketchy guy.
He's a pig rat.
People.
Yeah. He's like a pig.
He
overthrows the bourgeoisie and implements democracy.
He lobotomizes. He lobotomizes the mothers.
Yeah.
I want to say that Squealer is also the name of one of the pigs in Animal Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do think though, if we're gonna go through the show, like you're not doing justice by like skimming over each arc. I want to get into
I was
depth
thinking Snowball. Yeah, I don't know who Squealer is.
I say we get into depth in each one if we're gonna like go over the show, because skimming over this, it doesn't do much. We've learned nothing.
Okay.
They'll get it from us. They'll get it from us talking about it.
Okay,
if we're just
fine.
describing
I'll
a
do a
synopsis,
very
we're
brief
gonna set up
summary.
online.
Is that okay?
Ugh.
Okay.
Kids go on a wacky adventure.
It follows Saki's life throughout, from childhood to kind of teenage years to adulthood. There you go. As she finds out more about her society and what makes it wrong.
Yeah. It's a very dystopian society where they're controlling everything about these kids' lives because they have superpowers which could kill everyone, basically.
And because they're like programmed so they can't fight other humans, if one person goes rogue, everyone just dies.
One of their legends is an ogre, which is a person who can use their mental abilities to hurt another person, where they have a safeguard normally that hurts the person if they try to hurt another person with.
Yeah, and it's not on for these people. They go insane and just break free. It's all hypnotism is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if the hypnotism doesn't work, it doesn't work. The end.
So
if you break, some things are genetic. Actually, no, yeah, sorry. Killer feedback is genetic. You're right, but you have to see the other person as the same as you, is the thing. So it requires empathy.
Okay.
So like, if you kill somebody and you have any sense of empathy, you'll also die.
That's also
I
probably why
wasn't sure about it because I thought they read that taught that to that
No,
one
they
ogre,
didn't-
but
no,
it
they
was
didn't
it
teach
was okay.
It's biological. That's why it worked at the end.
Okay.
Okay. Now we can do as Joe
All right,
wants.
so the first episode is completely worthless in terms of understanding, as it's a lot of flashes of the world developing. Crazy shit goes down.
And the cats.
Cats.
Which are seen as like the secret police in the beginning by the kids that will steal people away into the night, never to be seen again if they impede society in any way. And they almost do that, except they don't kill people. They actually just...
No, they totally kill people.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually really interesting because, like I said, it does follow Saki's perspective, and because of that, like, the fear of the cats was real in the first few episodes because the kids were also afraid.
Yeah, you see the bully, he gets taken away. One of their friends gets erased from history.
Yep, that's fine.
I mean, that just happens a lot, is people just get erased from history. And it's not just from history, it's from your own memories. No, it's from your own memories, too, though. It's not just from history. They will hypnotize the information off of you. And that's the world you meet these kids in. And then you get to go to school with them, where they learn how to be psychics, and it's a lot of fun for everyone.
Oh, but as far as art, that first episode's awesome, with the silhouettes of all the kids playing on the hill.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like, I think that's the opening scene. Jeez, it's so good. Oh, no.
The opening scene is Slaughter.
Like 2006, yeah.
Yeah. The first ogre.
It's the first... Well, there weren't ogres at that point. It was just the first person with psychokinesis.
Since he didn't have... There's no restraint.
God, but, like, watching the kids go to school is the slowest part of this show, but it's still actually really interesting, because they're...
I was having fun with it, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I think in hindsight it's, like, the slowest part of the show, but watching it at first, it's like, all these kids are actually very developed human beings. Like, they're kids, but, like, you can get behind them, you know?
And I love, like, the whole school thing is just proxy to see who will actually contribute to society, just like real school.
But we don't get killed by the secret police cats if we goof.
Yeah, and I love that, like, the teachers, like so the kids see the other kids cheating, and they're like, oh my god, nothing's gonna be done about this, is ridiculous. And you think, oh man, nothing's gonna be done about this, is ridiculous. Like, the main character's gonna just take the loss, and I think they end up losing, right? But, like, the enemy team who is cheating disappeared.
They get erased from history.
They totally notice everything. Oh
yeah, no. Big Brother is strong. Even the children are not safe. Especially the children are not safe, actually.
Because the children also don't have... That's why they get rid of the powers.
Yeah.
Have to develop empathy in order to regain their powers, I think.
It's basically like they seal away your powers until you can, like, control them easily, basically.
And you're not...
Except it's, like, a little retconned, because, like... It's just, like, slightly retconned, because at the end it's like, once they're 10, they get the powers regardless, so it's like, well, whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
That was, like, one minor inconsistency. But it worked out in the long run, I guess. We just, like, really appreciated that all 5 main characters, 6 at that point, really felt like actual characters with, like, different personalities, but they also felt like children, in that, like, none of them were deep at all. They all had different personalities, but none of them had any substance, and you're like, wait, no, these are like 5-year-olds, that makes sense.
I thought the first guy disappeared in the first episode.
No, the girl.
Yeah, whatever. The 6th person, last person.
She disappeared in, like, the 2nd episode.
No, it was the first.
I mean, she disappeared really early on. It wasn't the first? Wow.
Yeah.
She disappeared really early on, but, like, even she had a personality. I mean, she just stopped existing.
And that was just because she wasn't...
She was very good.
Yeah.
That's it. Because they were worried, you find out later, when somebody's not very good, they're worried your frustrations will lead you to be, like, a maniac.
Oh, so it's like the Jedi?
Because you're just, like,
yeah,
more likely to be secluded and then, like...
You suck.
Yeah, well, and, like, go crazy.
Yeah. Everything they do is just to try to stop people from going crazy and killing everyone, as it turns out. Which, then you go to summer camp, and these kids go on a wild adventure where they look for mystical creatures and also discover the truth of the universe.
Thomas?
No one gonna... No, he doesn't deserve a comment on that. The kids go on wild adventures in the woods and discover the truth of the universe and the history of people. I feel like this should be noted. This is where like half the world building happens.
Yeah, I don't like the exposition with it though. Like I think it's interesting. They find the library, which is
The
the
little
pig
walking
thing.
animal thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an entire episode of just the pig thing talking to them.
Yeah, it's just like, well, now you found me. Here's everything about the world that's happened until now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Although,
But I mean, you needed that history though.
I feel like
You could still reveal it slowly.
Yeah.
it's one of those things where like the information's given to you, but you don't understand like how impactful it is until you see it. So I don't fault it that much. I mean, it's still like an entire episode of exposition, but like I don't think I had too much of a problem with it watching it the first time.
See, I agree with that because like it was all given to me, and like I would have hated to like when the big reveals happen later about like the truths or whatever. I'd have hated to have to take more time out of those and like leave an actual plot to be like, and this is when this happened and this happened. It's like, listen, I'm glad we just got one episode of exposition during the plotline that didn't really matter out of the way, and now we can just go through the rest of the show with like cool reveals and plot and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like it's better than a flashback shoehorned in at the last second, but I still think a slow reveal is better than either.
I feel like it's revealed too slowly. I don't know, because like
it also only an interesting thing that I found. I guess this is like the third or fourth watch through I've had. Is that like it gives you facts, like it gives you historical facts, but anything pertaining to the current society that's not like the genetic modifications, you still kind of like discovered through the series.
yeah,
So,
like a slow burn.
The more relevant stuff is still saved but hinted at, which I thought was fine.
I think the thing of a slow burn is that like it needs to be like super relevant and important, otherwise like it didn't matter, like that slow burn was worthless. And the history like gives you context for everything else that is revealed, but it itself should not be a slow burn because that's just a waste, because that's not the mystery you're focusing on. History was not the mystery, everything else was. I did not mean for that to rhyme, but I apologize.
Dude, that's your major. History's the mystery.
I'll put that up on a plaque and put it right beside my degree, I guess. So yeah, they discover the truths of the Earth, and then they go back to school, thought nothing went wrong, and then Shun goes insane.
Mm-hmm.
Did you tell me about Shun?
So Shun was the gifted prodigy that Saki loved because he was so cool, as she should. And then he starts to go a little crazy with his power, that he can't control it all the time necessarily. And then he's like, I gotta go, because I don't feel so great. And then...
Mentally.
Yeah, so... also, one of my favorite things about Shun, he carries 3 little balls with him, and he just has them spin around him, because he can.
That boy needs a fidget spinner.
Yeah, you find out
He
it's
does
to
need a
help him
fidget
focus.
spinner.
You find out that it helps him focus later, but I just like that. I thought it looked cool. And he leaves, and he's like, "Oh, goodbye, Saki, but more importantly, goodbye, my favorite dog."
No, the dog went with him though. It was great.
He did go with him.
Also, those balls are real. In real life, you can just
Yeah,
run
the
your
little,
hand.
Yeah.
little.
The guy in Food Wars has them.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
They're nice, although
Yeah.
fitting
It's
3 in your hand
relevant.
is kind of hard.
Yeah, they're pretty big, but it's fine. Whatever. It's
we
easier when you have
watch-
second first.
Did we watch Food Wars for this show?
We did, yeah.
You did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
I know because you had to watch it.
Yeah, I remember watching it. I was like, eh.
Yeah, Food Wars is great. Not relevant, but great. So, Shun loses control of his powers when he leaves, and the rest is just a witch scene from Madoka Magica, but with exposition. But exposition from a really sad kid wearing a mask.
And he's just, life is pain for him at that point. Nothing's going good.
Turns out sometimes people can just lose control. It's not their fault. It's their subconscious, and they just can't control it. So they eventually all commit suicide about it
It's
after
the karmic,
killing everyone around them.
it's the karmic demon.
Yep.
Like my parents tried to stay with me, they died. My dog stayed with me, it turned into a monster and then died. And now
Everything
you're
sucks.
here, and you gotta go. Saki.
So then he just force pushes her away and then implodes himself. Like a hero.
Like a hero.
And then I think closely related to that, two of the other friends, went off together. They, one of them was always jealous of Saki because she got one of the girls and, or the other girl, I suppose. And he was always jealous of that, but they ended up together in the end and they disappear into the woods, never to be seen again.
I feel like that's way later and has its own arc.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Years later.
Well, it's been years since I've seen that.
Shun happened about the same
That was
time
like
as
episode
those
11.
two? Shun,
Yeah, it's episode 10,
there was
and
a
then
time skip
after that.
before Shun.
Wait, are
Because
you talking about
after
Maria
Shun-
and Mamoru, or who are you talking about?
Yeah,
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 talking about
that's-
Mamoru.
That's
Yeah,
later.
after Shun disappears, that's what kind of sparks the kids to start investigating things more. And then
Right.
that's what
Guys, we're skipping over the most important thing. We haven't even mentioned it.
was
We got a whole episode of just 14-year-olds trying to bang.
Oh
That was
yeah,
episode
yeah.
8. Yeah.
I love that
talk about
Saki. I love that two love interests were set up for Saki, and it was Shun, and it was other boy whose name I forgot immediately for some reason.
He was not. Satoru was
Satoru.
never set up. It was Maria or Shun.
Yeah, it's Maria and Shun, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, they almost
He,
banged
like-
in that rat cage. I'm just throwing it out there.
Like,
That's true, but they were also like 7. It was weird.
also,
They were
they
12.
explain
Whatever.
that they have another thing hypnotized into them that if they're in a super stressful situation that they have to bang.
We'll bang it
But-
out.
Once again, that was one of the things that was shoehorned in right before.
Yeah, except she resists that one, so apparently it's not that strong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I want to talk about how Japan, as a pretty conservative country, had all these bisexual relationships happening.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was
everybody
all
just bangs
progressive.
everyone.
That-
Everyone was banging everyone of
Oh.
any gender, really.
That's actually, it's actually kind of something that Japan does. Japan actually has this like idea, and I don't want to like talk down to it. But they think that like during adolescence, those types of relationships are actually normal. Or more like in teenage years. And once you grow up, you kind of grow out of it. So, yeah, I thought that was actually really interesting thinking about that while watching the episodes where it happened.
All right, that kind of changes it. It makes more sense of what like thought Maria says in the end, where she's like, "And we're 2 girls anyway, so it wouldn't have worked out." Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Like near the end. So okay, because I was wondering about that. That felt like weird.
Yeah, it's
But,
all
like-
about youth to Japan.
It is all about youth. All right, so fine. Shun died.
Mhm.
Everybody starts investigating shit. Turns out Mamoru's a piece of weak-spined
I
garbage.
hate Mamoru. I hate
Mamoru
Mamoru so much.
sucks.
Mamoru
What a waste
really
of
does
space.
suck.
Like, and he's meant to be. Like, they're like, in case anyone watching is like, oh man, they really fucked with this character. No, you're supposed to hate him.
You're not supposed to hate him. Just like not view him with respect.
Like society doesn't.
He's like Squealer, but more squirmy and
No, 'cause
not
Squealer's
not
competent.
half as smart. Not
Squealer's
half as smart
competent.
as Squealer.
There's the part where like Mari and Mamoru run off, and I was like, am I upset about that? Because I was like, those are like, if I had to pick any 2 characters to just disappear, it's probably Mari and Mamoru.
They don't have. Yeah, I mean,
They
basically,
didn't do much.
Maria complains and Mamoru gets scared and
Mamoru's
runs
just
away.
bad at things.
Maria
Yeah.
had some sweet hair though. That's all she had going for her.
I don't know. I think the thing is like Mamoru runs away
Mhm.
because he figures out that they're trying to disappear him,
Mhm.
and by disappear, I think it's fair to say at this point's murder kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just gonna kill Mamoru for being.
Oh, you went robot for a second. I think you're
Yeah.
frozen.
For a second, he's still frozen.
Yeah, he's still frozen.
I like the
It's
face
kinda
that he's
awkward.
on.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. But anyway, so Mamoru and Maria kind of disappear. Oh.
Goes.
He dropped.
He'll come back.
Oh,
okay.
There you go. We missed whatever you said in the last 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, sorry, I had to disconnect everything and fix it. Alright, anyway. Gosh. Yeah, Mamoru figures out that he's gonna get killed. He runs away. He just goes straight past the holy barrier, which, by the way, don't do much in terms of barriering.
It's really just a rope when you get down to it.
It's mostly
got
just to
talismans on
like
it.
keep the
It keeps
mutations.
the mosquitoes out.
It's mostly just to keep the mutations from happening. Like,
Mhm.
Well,
taking
they
place.
happen, just not inside the lines. Also, it keeps mosquitoes out, apparently, which is like a fun little fact that was.
Sure.
Sure.
It was a line that was dropped later on. It's like, what's this mosquito doing here? The holy barrier should keep it out. I was like, the holy
Do
barrier
mosquitoes
has a lot
have
of
PK?
uses. Maybe, who knows?
Mosquitoes superpowered in this world? I don't know.
How did the mosquitoes like not change very much?
Well,
Everything
you
else
could argue
did.
that the artillery bugs were mosquitoes at some point. They look like mosquitoes to me.
So I am a little far gone from the original conversation about this, but I wanted to briefly bring it up since I thought about it. The stories that they told in the first couple episodes were animated, and they were animated.
Oh no. I don't know.
Bridge toward the character of the story.
Okay.
That was probably one of the scarier parts of the show for me. That was the one that creeped me out.
So I cut out, and I have no idea what you just said, which means none of the
Oh, no,
viewers
Alan's
know
the
what
guy
you just
hosting.
said.
I liked the ogre story in the first couple episodes and how it was animated.
I personally really liked the King assassination one. Because
Oh.
all of those were just like histories, basically. There's just like brief flashes of history leading up, but you don't really realize that. You're just like, what is going on?
Yeah, and the king setting people
The
on
Emperor,
fire.
please clap, everyone.
The first
Yeah.
100 people who stopped clapping, he would set them on fire. So people clapped for what, 5 days, I think?
It was crazy.
Something like
3
that, yeah. It was
days.
multiple days.
And then that doesn't really mean much to you at that point, and then you realize at the end when it's, oh gosh, when the end talks about like how the psychic people treated the non-psychic people, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
no.
getting to that. So,
yeah, we are.
Maria,
Satoru
Runs
runs
away
away.
with
Maria
Mamoru.
doesn't. No, she didn't. Not yet. Mamoru just runs away.
Armor runs
Yeah,
away,
it's
they
a
go
different
find
house.
him, and Maria's like, I'm gonna stay with him with Squealer, the only person we can trust right now.
Yeah, Squealer's the most trustworthy person alive. We need to trust Squealer really hard.
that's right.
Squealer,
Yeah.
super obviously using this opportunity to try to take over another colony. Squealer, we trust you so much.
Now that I think about it, I think it's Maria who sows the distrust of the guy with the Kikido?
Nope.
Kikido?
She doesn't. I'm not
Kiramaru?
actually sure that Kiramaru and Maria meet.
Maria.
It might be. I think he only
don't
meets
think they meet.
Satoru.
They
Yeah,
have never
they
met
never do.
before.
Okay.
Maria just like gets disenfranchised with the whole like we can be disappeared if we're failures thing.
Yeah. So
So she
she
decides to stay with
decides, yeah, not a good idea.
Then, Saki gets revealed literally all of the truths by an old woman who's like, "You're gonna be my successor because you have free will, and that's pretty rare."
Yeah.
She's chosen.
She was like, all that awful stuff about our civilization, it's all true. It's like,
Oh,
okay.
but look at you. You're still functioning, and I told you that.
Mhm.
So you're gonna be the next leader. Also, telomerase are why people die of old age, and I'm gonna tell you how to fix yours. I was like, well, this is scientifically accurate. It's a little worrying.
Oh, telomeres?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's another one of those things where they keep on mentioning like karmic demons and ogres, and you see a karmic demon and you see just how much damage it caused, like with Shun, but you still have never seen an ogre.
Oh boy. So yeah, once they give up on finding Maria and Mamoru, they just can't do it. So they kind of resign that they're probably gonna die. But then they ask Squealer to fake their deaths, and he's like, "Yeah, we can do that."
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Oh, no. Yep, super faked.
Oops.
It's like JFK asked everyone to fake his death.
With a bullet.
Asked the FBI to fake his death, and they're like, yeah, we gotcha. We gotcha.
Oh gosh, were we not supposed to actually shoot? Oh no. Because like, God, you go to the time skip, and like now Saki is like working with queerettes for some reason, and
Sure.
like, yeah, it's great. And Satoru is like a researcher or something, big scientist.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it's weird. This fucking Squealer's clan is now really powerful, and they just beat Kiramaru's clan in warfare somehow, and it took all their weapons, and like, this looks like it's the work of an enemy stand. I mean, of human psychic. And it's like, wait, what? And it's like, wait, does this have to do with Maria and Mamoru? And then it's like, no, they're dead. Squealer sent us evidence. And I was like, oh god, it's the fake evidence he was talking about. And then they kept going.
No.
Yeah, well, they also have DNA tests and their teeth tests. And it's like, wait.
They're actually dead?
Oh, you're not supposed to have all of that.
Oh, Squealer, did you actually kill... Oh, no. Oh, God. Squealer killed them both.
No, Squealer wouldn't do that. I trust Squealer.
Never mind, you're right. Squealer's a man.
We went through all those adventures together. I love him.
Yeah, no, it kind of implies
Hero.
like some kind of fucked up things that Squealer may have done because he had to have enslaved them, and well, he had them when they were when they had just met, and later on, he finds something else out. But we're about to get to that.
We're about to get... You want to give us the big dramatic reveal, Tom? Drum roll, please.
So, Squealer has on his side a girl that's destroying, like killing people. That's killing people with their mind, and it's
about 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah,
she has beautiful red hair, gorgeous blue eyes. Oh no! Wait.
And she's Maria's daughter and Mamoru's daughter.
And that's a problem.
And so she's an ogre because she can kill them. And the reason, and no one can fight back against the ogre because no one can kill someone that they recognize as a person. The way they get by that on the ogre side, how Squealer got past that is I think it was because Saki talked too much and told him too much about the powers, and he started learning more about it.
Yeah. Also, I'm 100% sure they had a false Minetto. They had that.
Yeah, it mentioned that they actually had a false Minetto.
Yeah, you're right.
So they had
at the Encyclopedia of the Universe.
The library,
basically.
And
which I don't know how they kept that charged, because apparently the battery life is like 5 minutes in the last episode, but whatever.
I mean, it's
just sun.
It's electricity. It's electricity, not the sun.
Anyway, so on Squealer's side, they convince her that she is a rat person. I can't remember the name of them. And
Queer rat.
What is it?
Queer rat.
Crunchyroll
Queer
say monster rat.
Queer rat.
And monster rat, yeah.
Monster rat.
And they just
man, my son's different than y'all's. All right, whatever.
Yeah, mine's the monster rat. And she just I watched it on Crunchyroll, and she never saw like her reflection. They never showed her reflection, so she just assumed she was a monster rat.
She just thought she was a monster rat, which I mean, like, she never drank water before, but I'll just let it slide. It was just like, that was actually really cool. I really loved the idea of just like, and she never speaks English because like she just keeps chattering the Queerette language. Sorry, I'm going to use the subs I had in their language the whole time. It's like, God, this is terrifying. She's just like laughing and screaming, and like everyone's just exploding around her. Just this 11-year-old bringer of death.
But at the same time, like everyone keeps everyone keeps on saying like, "Are you really an ogre?" Because like ogres are supposed to be a lot like more insane, and she definitely doesn't look quite like an ogre.
Because an ogre is a person who like their hypnosis broke, but also they went like completely insane.
Right.
Also, I think people are expecting it to look different based off of the stories that everyone's told.
Right,
but it's just a person.
Yeah,
like
she's mostly just like a feral child.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, then it's revealed that she is not an ogre. In fact, she just thinks she's a monster rat.
Yeah. So
yeah, the only difference is that an ogre is just anyone who can kill someone with their mind.
No, an ogre is a specific thing. She's not an ogre, and it's very well defined that she's not an ogre at the end.
Yeah.
That's like a big point. An ogre is somebody like
an ogre is someone who doesn't
overcomes
die from
who breaks, basically.
Yeah, it's someone who wouldn't die from killing their own kind.
Absolutely no empathy.
Yeah.
And she's not an ogre because she does die from killing her own kind. She just doesn't understand what her own kind is.
So remind me, how does she die?
She dies because they trick her into killing Kiromaru, who is a rat man,
And
which she is in her mind.
and he does die?
Yeah, he does die.
die.
And in return, the killer feedback shows up for her because she just killed a queer rat, which she thinks she is.
His everything got blown out of his body.
It was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it gets pretty graphic at parts. I remember that.
It gets pretty graphic at all parts. Even like episode 4, when they're just kids, you see like this one monk slaughtering queer rats for like days. It's great.
And then at the very end, when they beat her, and then they're able to beat back the rebellion of the monster rats. They first of all, they remove Squealer's brain and torture it for what, 5 years?
Yeah.
Making it go like he is deprived of all senses except pain.
I don't think they removed his brain.
I'm pretty sure the brain is like still attached.
His
I think
body just kind of deformed
into that sludge ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was for after the trial. They said what to do with him, and then.
But that's the thing, though, because like, yeah. Sorry, just finishes us up.
And then the last big reveal is that the monster rats are like humans who never evolved to have psychokinesis.
And because of that, the people with psychokinesis, well, they couldn't kill them while they looked like humans. Mutate them until they look like rats. Oh gosh. So yeah, let's talk about Squealer for a bit, shall we?
He did nothing wrong.
The hero of the story.
I honestly think that the story's more about Squealer than anything else.
I mean, it's true though. Like,
if it were
you don't
told
have a villain
from
for the last 5 episodes, it's just all Squealer.
If it were told from Squealer's perspective,
He would be the hero.
He would be the hero. He would act. It would be just another story of someone rising up against oppression.
Because the rats are slaves for all intents and purposes. They're just underneath the palms of the humans with powers. They have to call them gods, even. Like, come on.
He's a freedom fighter. He's like freedom fighter. Same thing as fucking terrorists. Oh, same thing as a terrorist.
No, there's a difference between a freedom fighter and a terrorist, technically speaking. But no, there's a. I have lots of notes on this, buddy. I am a dual major in history and in peace, war, and defense. There's a difference. I'll fight you on this, but not the point of this because he's a terrorist. Well, it's really hard to flat out say actually, because at the same time, he declared war.
Yeah, but he didn't.
It was an insurgency.
Make a distinction
I don't think it makes a difference to people that are killed.
That's the thing, though. Yeah, but like in his defense. Like, they're just waiting for one off day, and then, like, their entire civilization is going to go down anyways. Like, there was no permanence, there was no safety. Even Kiromaru, like, the most noble, loyal guy, was like, and yeah, we totally came to Tokyo so we could find nukes and kill you guys, because humans are scary. And we didn't want to be under your feet anymore.
Yeah, like, there would come a point where, you know, they'd probably just try to kill our colony as well, so nukes.
Yeah, so it's like, you're saying like he's a villain because he's killing these people, but like, if literally all of them view him as subhuman...
Well, and the thing is, like the humans slaughtered them. Like...
Yeah.
You gotta, like, think, well, they're slaughtering us. We have to do something, right?
See, that's the thing. The humans are definitely the bad guys here.
Yeah.
Like, super the bad guys here, so I don't, like...
Like, it's hard to get out of the mindset
was a monster,
that, like...
but, like, so are they.
Because we have empathy with the humans. Because we are humans. And that's, like, another point that the anime, like, gets across. Like, we viewed the monster rats as subhuman, and so the entire time we're, like, kind of rooting for the humans. But once, like, at the very end, it's revealed that the monster rats are also humans, but even without going into that, like, you start seeing things from Squealer's perspective, and like partially because of Squealer's like justification for his own actions, but also because of Hiromaru also saying, you know, like, we have nothing against you, but like it was kind of a precarious situation for us because you could just kill us.
Yeah.
If
No,
you ever anything you did, we all.
I don't know a single thing you just said right there.
It was just I was saying what Kiramaro said of like if we ever did anything you didn't like, we would just die.
Yeah.
No, I think it's definitely trying to find that gray area and definitely make you double think about your hey, big brother, about your about your perspective from the story. Obviously, I think you bring up a good point that they're not subhuman, but you do see them as subhuman.
Yeah,
but they are exactly human. That's a good point.
Thoroughly and exactly human.
And maybe it's trying to say that we need more empathy towards things that we don't understand fully.
I mean, I doubt it's even that. I think it was more of like I don't think it was just empathy towards things we don't understand fully. I think the end of the show is just like it's weird because the entire show is like a Big Brother thing, but the end of the show doesn't address that at all. If anything, it agrees with the whole Big Brother.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's still good for the society. Like that,
Well,
the whole reason they're doing everything is.
But it just becomes about like basically racism, right?
I think the main reason is like they don't want to make one side to be clearly bad, right? Like,
yeah, I get that.
They give justification for both sides, and from both standpoints, you can see like why they're doing what they're doing. Kind of the humans a little less because it's a little more fucked up, but you know.
That's kind of my problem though, is because like they couldn't, like the show spends 20 episodes on the Big Brother aspect of humans, right? Whereas like you get hints of the rat people's enslavement, and I think that was really cleverly done, especially because every time you see Squealer, he seems a little bit further and further gone, and it's like holy shit. But like the last 5 episodes almost dropped the Big Brother point altogether.
Right. I will say though,
rewatching,
I think the last few episodes do.
Sorry, go.
Oh, sorry.
Go.
Yeah.
Go.
I think the last few episodes do play into it a little more, and it's because of the whole ogre thing. It shows just how destructive ogres are, and like how
powerless they are.
How powerless they are against it, and why they're trying to stop this like machine of destruction, basically, even if it wasn't a real ogre.
Yeah, and I get that, but like at the same time, it kind of like it shows why, but it was like we're not gonna even try to address whether this is like the correct way of dealing with this issue or not, and instead we're just gonna like, hey, no, but like it feels like that should have been addressed at some point, and it flat out wasn't, in favor of being like we can improve as a race by not being racist towards the queer rats.
It
was like
it addresses it a little bit. If you remember the very last shot where it shows the school, and it shows like a quote about creativity, that's not a thing that happened in the old society.
Oh, that's true, actually. Though it also had creepy children's laughter on that, so that made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, but like they were trying to get across that they were trying to change all aspects of their society. And like I want to say this series uses its time really well, but it still didn't have quite enough time to get that across. Like every moment that the series has, it tries.
Dude, you're lagging so hard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thomas is the only one who hasn't had any problems this entire podcast.
Dude, I missed like 5 minutes to robots.
Yeah.
Just very stacked.
Wait, just now? Like this?
Before. Once I changed headphones, I'm good.
Okay.
So yeah.
Jovan's portrait.
Oh, he's like 2 FPS. Okay, maybe 1 FPS actually. 0 FPS right now.
Yeah, no, this is more like 0.004.
Oh, we can hear him.
Oh, I can hear you guys complaining, but I can't
We can't hear you complaining.
One frame every
shut up.
25 seconds.
Okay, you're
Alright,
good.
you guys tell me.
You're good.
You guys
you're good.
tell me about the show that I'm out. I'm out. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just want to like. How did people feel about the last literal 30 seconds? But the very ending of the show,
the part
where you just get a lot of people saying Saki's name and then like weird children's laughter.
well, I want to say Saki's had a really shitty life.
Yes.
And that kind of just shows, I think it's kind of just showing all the loss that she's faced because of just everything that's happened because of the society. Like everyone who was shown was dead. Everyone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You know, that's a fair point. I don't know, it just felt weird. It felt like I really liked where I thought it was going to end, which was just the shot of her book where she's like, people can't change. It was a beautiful ending, and then it just kind of kept going for another 30 seconds of just people saying Saki's name.
I think they could have cut that part out and just shifted it to the school scene. It did give a little bit of like the end of Ava vibes, where everyone's just clapping and saying congratulations. But I think it had a little more purpose than just like a random scene. How about everyone else?
Yeah,
I'm watching it as we speak.
Okay. I've kind of mixed feelings about it, because, like, it's always, like, it's like, you're going to grow up in a better future, which always feels kind of like a cop-out to me, because, like, how are they going to change society? Because, like...
Here's he, Robot.
I'm Robot?
No, he's
Not
fine.
for me.
Fine for me.
Okay, Javon, you're the Robot.
Okay, it's my internet, then keep going.
But yeah,
Robot, you're the robot. You're the robot.
You're the robot. Everyone find the robot.
Who do you shoot? Which one's the real one?
So, what was he saying? So yeah, yeah.
Alright, so something about, oh man, it didn't really...
Okay, well, okay, so
It's gone.
I
It's gone.
just watched
My brain is
it. It's like, yeah, 30 seconds long. So, it shows all the kids, they say a thank you, which is kind of weird. I think they could have done something a little different with the thank you, and then the music especially. It sounds like it's trying to end on a happy thought, and I didn't think Jovan was right until I just watched it now about the laughter being creepy, but it definitely seems to have a negative tone on that. And then the portrait with creativity or imagination can change the world or whatever it is, that's against everything that society stands for. They only want one dictatorial leader, and everyone else is a cog in the machine.
It's more like a committee that's kind of just dictating everything.
One person is better than everybody else, though. First amongst equals is still the Emperor, as it turns out. Thanks, Rum.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure if I like how it ended.
Yeah, and Jitty, I remember what you were talking about, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
You were talking about Saki with her baby and being like, it'll be a better future.
Yeah. She just says it'll be a better future, and I'm supposed to feel good about that, even though it's like, well, we just like killed all the rat people, so now we're good. Not all of them, but it was like.
It's definitely like a bitter. It's not even that sweet. It's kind of just a bitter ending.
Yeah.
Though I think it's trying to pass it off as like an ending that everything worked out all right.
I think my problem is they didn't address any of the issues, just fast forwarded 10 years and were like, and the issues are being resolved. Goodbye.
Yeah, they just tell you it's better now.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they brought up so much morality, like gray morality in there, and then there was no real answer to it, so they just said like,
yeah,
now it's better.
That's kind of a problem, but it would also like take probably another season to actually resolve everything. But
no, I'm not saying I want to see actual resolving, but like, man, I've watched anime before. You could at least give me like a 20-second scene just being like, and this is how things began to resolve. Like, we had talks with the rats or something. Like, come on, man. But no, it was just like, and everything's better now. Go away.
There was a montage of like the aftermath, which
Yeah,
didn't
the
really
montage
resolve
just showed,
much.
like,
They kind of just
we spared some lives.
Yeah.
And made a museum that shows his body always in perpetual torture.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kills him in the end, out of
Which was
mercy.
nice.
Yeah.
It was out of mercy, which was the best part. Like, it was very clear that it was out of mercy.
Although she did call him out on like all of his lying when
Yes.
they first met.
Yeah.
Also true. He was always a liar and a scoundrel, but
He was scheming from the get-go.
he was a schemer.
But he was smart.
Yeah, he was.
He was probably the smartest one in the whole show.
That doesn't say much, but yeah,
Yeah, he was kind of playing against 12-year-olds now that I think about it.
pretty much.
So it kind of helped.
Who
12-year-olds
don't
were the
have
only
free
ones in
will.
the entire city with free will, so like,
Yeah. Like
But there was also the other rat guy who seemed like he was really smart, but in the end he was just like,
I mean,
noble.
he
was
couldn't
noble.
find a way to like I think he was smart, but he just
He just
couldn't find
wasn't-
a way to win. So he had
Yeah.
to just live with it.
like, cause he tried too. His answer was nukes, and he just couldn't find any.
Yeah. Like I don't think you normally get a hold of like a human child that you
Squealer
can
got real
raise.
lucky that like two 14-year-olds ran away together like into his lap and were like, "Squealer, we trust you implicitly." That doesn't generally happen, I feel.
Yeah.
I should have just gone to Kingdom. Kingdom Hearts
They
solve our
should have
problems.
just, you know,
Yes.
not trusted the rat people on that one. I don't know why they were like, they just like took their servitude for granted, I guess, which is the point.
Mhm.
But yeah, at the end of the day, he was playing against 12-year-olds.
Mhm.
I mean, they were literal sheeple, all of them.
Yeah. I did really enjoy the like crazy acts of power you saw from like the lead. I'm the best psychic in the town
The
until
monk?
he just died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that was so fucking sweet.
God, his eyes. We just talk about his eyes for a second. He has 4 pupils, and they're just all cool. Awesome.
It was really interesting.
All right. So a couple of like technical standpoints I want to talk about. One, when the episode where Maria's letter is read, and it just starts off with like a 5-minute anime opening. That's just like a music video montage of Maria's backstory with her. And like at first, it took me out of it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give my opinion here. It took me right out of the show because like we had never had an opening before, and here we are with like montaging about Maria, and I was like, this belongs in another show.
I definitely remember in like watching it for the first time and being like, what is happening? Like it's really out of place because there's usually no opening.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I
What hurt it for me is the fact that it was about Maria, and I was like, I don't
it's like, I mean, there's a purpose why it's there, but
Mhm.
they probably could have done it some other way. It didn't really need.
I think the problem is they needed Maria to be really important. They needed Maria to be really important to Saki, right?
Mhm.
But like because Saki was interested in Shun when Maria was interested in Saki, Maria never felt that important to Saki.
Because you know she's not endgame.
Yeah.
You know she's going to
So-
end up with one of the dudes.
So it was like we need a way to prove that Maria matters a lot to Saki without actually giving Maria more development because we can't anymore.
Mhm.
And that's how they did it, which. Eh...
It was out of place. I agree. Like I agree with that.
Other than that, though, I really like. Tom's in thinking mode.
I'm just listening. I honestly don't even remember it, but from what you're saying, like, no, like you shouldn't have an opening in this show. Not if it's set up like that. In every other episode, there's no opening, and it's got the. I distinctly remember black screen and that little white writing in the middle, and that was the show. That's like it gets you so hyped for it. At least it got me hyped for it, and then I think it's just it's a whoosh sound. It's not even like a drum beat or something. It's just and then you go, and
Yeah.
that's all it needs. You don't need a
So
music video.
yeah, rejoice everyone who usually skips the opening. There is
You
none.
made it. Yeah, I think for me, it's like Shinsekai Yori doesn't feel like I'm watching an anime. It feels like I'm watching a show, right? and like more than just a show, it feels like I'm watching art. I think I said that earlier. And like doing stupid things like giving it a generic opening with a montage over like a loved character, just pulls me right out. It pulls me. I'm just watching another anime. Great. I guess I'll go watch Evangelion or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the direction really went off in some
right
spots.
There. I thought the direction was most.
So
just,
I actually wanted to. I kind of wish I'd asked you guys to watch the first ending again after like watching the show, because the first ending actually just recounts all of the events that happened before the war and kind of like a little bit of the beginning. And I thought it was really clever because like the art style kind of makes it seem like it's more abstract, but like when it gets down to it, and the last sort of few seconds of the ending kind of give this away as well. It's just like a dream for Saki. Like she wakes up and someone's holding her hand because she dreamt of her traumatic experiences during the entire series.
Oh jeez.
It's actually a really interesting ending.
I should probably watch it because like I always listened to it, but I never like went through the lyrics. I guess
I watched it once. I watched it once with lyrics and video and everything, but I was like busy marathoning the show, so I just kind of kept going on without like.
Yeah, because usually when I hear the ending, I'll listen to it and I'll just walk and do something else, and I'll come back. Because I just like the song. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's such a good song. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go back and do that.
It is like really interesting. I really like that detail. I didn't realize until I'd watched it again, but yeah.
Are we ready then for final thoughts and ratings?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Who wants to go first?
I would recommend it. I think it's very good.
That's it.
So I'm sure everyone has friends who don't watch things just because it's anime, right? Just because it's animated. Jovan used to be like that. And
so you're gonna bring up like freshman year high school?
Here you are.
And no, but like, and I just am at a loss for like what you really should show these people. This isn't one. Don't use this. It's good. I wouldn't even say this is one of the first 10 someone should watch, but I think it's very good and should be accessible to everyone. But there's just something blocking people that are just like, no, it's anime, I can't watch it. I think really the first two is just gotta be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and
Cowboy Beppo.
Cowboy Bebop, yeah.
I think. Oh, Alan, going.
Oh, I mean, were you gonna give your opinion? Because
I was gonna give my opinion and kind of jump off of what Thomas is saying as well.
Then go ahead.
Just the idea of like, for me, I kind of want to talk about Shinsekai Yori the same way I talk about Kimi no Nawa, Your Name, because I recommended Kimi no Nawa to a lot of people who like don't watch anime, and I was like, hey, there's this movie, and then I would just describe the movie, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, and I guess it was animated. And I would do the same thing here, where it'd be like, there's this like sci-fi fantasy thing, and this is a show, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, and it's animated at the end. I don't want to just like, because for me, this isn't like, it's not tropes, it's not anime, it's just like, this is just a solid show, and I think I've said it a couple of times, but like, just one more time.
It's a story that uses anime as a medium.
Exactly. So,
which is how anime should be, but
it should be. Some people use anime as the framework, though, and that's not really how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
You say some.
Okay, so
Yeah, stop. Alan, go.
yeah, like Jovan and JD have been saying, it doesn't feel like an anime. It feels like a story that was told in the anime medium, and I have to agree. Like the structure of the story is very much more like a book than anything. Like it's just like you're watching a book, and because of that, I think it's a really unique experience for like anime in general. So I think that you really should watch it if you have the time. I think it's a really well crafted series. And honestly, if I didn't have like such loyalty to Type Moon and like all the Fate stuff, it would probably go straight to the top, or at least be like a strong contender for my favorite anime.
UBW.
Okay. So for me, I really like this. I like this more than I thought I would, honestly. Especially from like beginning when it's just like kids in school. But yeah, I really liked it. I think Joban was like spot on when he said it was a lot like The Giver, which is like the first thing I thought of when I was going through the episodes of this society's really weird, and they're kind of doing things to people. And I feel like if you like that mystery of figuring out what's going on, and like I think that was my favorite part of the show, which is probably why I didn't like the second half quite as much, but I still liked it. So yeah, I'd recommend this to anyone, especially if they looking for like a mystery-ish story. So, yeah.
It should be noted that when I mentioned The Giver, I was specifically referring especially to the color bit, where like not much in terms of colors unless something really needs to stand out, which is exactly how The Giver did it, and even reading it, which was really interesting. But yeah, no, it also works in terms of like the general plot. So, this is a first. JD, you are our guest man. Tell us what we're watching next week.
Oh boy, we're watching. The only reason I've ever come on this podcast so this could happen is we're gonna watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure parts 1 and 2. So season 1 it combines the two, which is probably it's my favorite manga of all time, and it's a really good anime. So yeah.
What's it about, JD? What did you call the category here?
So it's
what genre is this?
The genre is manly men doing manly things and saving the world from all of the problems, whatever happens to be there. You want to fight zombies, you want to fight alien monsters, you can fight anything.
But JD, what if I'm against Nazis?
What? Oh, you won't be by the end of this series.
Oh no.
Oh, that's not something you want to say.
So you'll find out. You'll find out next week when we watch JoJo's Bizarre.
You know, I set you up for that, but in hindsight, I'm so sorry.
All these secrets will be revealed after JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It's one of my favorite shows as well.
There are good people on both sides of JoJo's.
They're good people. Good men die on both sides of that war.
It's not true.
Whew.
Anywho.
That dated me even by this.
Oh gosh, would you look at the time? We gotta go, so we'll see you guys in 2 weeks for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Look forward to more JD.
Bye.
Bye-bye.